What is going on, everybody? Jason here with Tahoe Restorations. Welcome to our very first video here on YouTube. I have a few other YouTube channels linked down below. If you're interested, check them out. The reason that this channel is here is for this girl right here. This is my 2001 Chevy Tahoe 4-wheel drive LT trim 5.3 liter Vortec. Now, my wife and I have had this for about a year. We have 3 kids, so we needed something with the third row. I needed something to be able to pull a boat and a camper and some cars eventually in the future. And we stumbled across this on Craigslist, like I said, about a year ago. It was previously, a little backstory, it was built in Wisconsin. In 2002, it was converted into an emergency services vehicle. We're going to take a look around the whole vehicle so you'll see it real up close and everything. But this push bar right here was put on here as an emergency vehicle standard, I would assume. It had red and blue lights in the push bar. And it also still has a siren underneath of it that I wasn't ever able to get out. Everything was cut, so nothing works, whatever. It has been a wonderful truck. We haven't had any problems with it breaking down. It does need a lot of love. I have done a little bit of work to it. Basically, every single component in the vehicle, besides the windshield wiper tank and the coolant tank, everything that holds fluid leaks. So we have the front differential, the oil pan, the transmission, the rear differential, everything like that. I'm not sure how the radiator is, if there's any huge leaks in the radiator. We haven't pulled that apart yet. But already I have replaced the battery, the alternator. It has a new water pump on it. It has new radiator hoses on it. It has a new thermostat on it. Just changed the oil in it today. I'll get to that here in a second too. It's got a crappy JVC head unit in it. I was really excited about buying that head unit and then found out that it's a piece of garbage. So definitely going to be getting something new. I have all new speakers around in the doors, as well as a brand new pile. I believe it's the Blue Wave. We'll look at it here in a second. It is the 8-inch sub. These Tahoes came with a stock sub and a stock amplifier. Obviously, those are 17 years old. The sub and the speakers were all blown out. I only actually had one speaker that wasn't blown when I went and tore all this up. But again, this is what this channel is going to be here for. I want to show you the entire process because I'm going to be restoring this vehicle from the top down, 100%. I want to show you the entire process because here's the deal. You know, there's all kinds of mechanics all over YouTube, but there's not a lot of videos specifically for specific cars. Now, you can type in YouTube search Tahoe, blah, 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 blah. But what I found was some of them are for 2-wheel drive models. Some of them are for the newer years, and that stuff doesn't work on the older years. And that was actually a problem that I had, was that a lot of the videos that I watched were for 2-wheel drive models and not 4-wheel drive. Again, I'll get to that here in a second. But I'm in my garage, okay? I don't have a shop. This is at my house. I have basic hand tools. I have an electric impact gun that I bought at Harbor Freight. I know you get what you pay for, but it's what I could afford. You know, I have basic stuff. I don't have a lift. I don't have air tools. And I don't have all the knowledge in the world to be doing this. The way I do things is I look it up on YouTube myself. When I get to what I want to fix, I look up how to do it on YouTube. That's where I ran into a problem. I mentioned today that I changed the oil. One of the big things that this needs is a new oil pan gasket. And I need to clean the oil pan inside and out really, really bad. That's one of the biggest leaks. I was at the oil pan gasket. I ordered an oil pan gasket off of Amazon probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have it sitting here off to the side, and I haven't been able to put it in. So at first, when I went to do it the first time, I couldn't get the cross member off. There's a cross member. Once we get to doing the oil pan, you'll see, but there's a cross member that goes right underneath of the oil pan, and I couldn't get that off because there was so much crud baked onto there from 17 years of leaking oil or changing oil and getting some on that cross member. I couldn't get the bolts loose. So that's why I had to go out and get the impact gun. Now, again, this is all going to be affordable. I couldn't afford air tools, so I spent $50 and bought an electric impact gun. That took those bolts out today like a breeze. But regardless, I tried it, then I had to wait to get an impact gun. This week I said, okay, I've got an impact gun. I know in my head how to do this. I'm going to change the oil pan gasket. I dropped the cross member, cleaned it up as much as I could because there was about 1.5 inches worth of grease and crap just caked on there. And then I went to look at the oil pan more and found out that the front differential sits right underneath the oil pan, and there is about 1/4 inch of clearance, which means that I would have to drop the front differential in order to drop the oil pan. Now, in the videos that I watched, as I mentioned earlier, the videos that I watched, it didn't show a front differential being in the way. It said what you do is you drain the oil, then you drop the steering rack to make more clearance. You got to take off a starter plate, and then you could pull the oil pan out. Now I come to find out that everything is different for the 4-wheel drive models. I guess it's my fault for not thinking about it at first. I definitely should have realized that it was different. But again, that is why we're here, because I'm going to show you this step by step from right after the start of it all the way to the finish. We have some huge plans. So what I'm going to be doing, the very next thing that mechanically that I'm going to be doing is all of the suspension components, because I'm not going to do the oil pan gasket and drop the front differential just to put it back up there and then have to drop it again to do everything like that. So we are going to get new wheel bearings, we're going to get new tie rod ends, we're going to get new control arms and new sway bar links and bushings. All of the bushings that we need underneath there are going to be replaced. All of the, we're going to end up eventually in the very late future, we're going to get coilover shocks, but those are really expensive. And then I have to replace all of the seals. So we're going to get new CV axles, and then I have to replace the seals on both sides of the front differential where the CV axles hook up. And then I also have to replace the seal for the main seal in the middle of the front differential. So that's going to be loads of fun. Engine-wise, I'm going to replace most of the stuff in the engine with brand new parts. There just isn't that much that is a top priority right now compared to the seals and the suspension. And then it's going to get a really awesome paint job. I have something really cool in mind. You will actually see what I'm getting at in the very next video. I'm going to be doing a lot of design work, stuff like that. There's a spoiler on the back that has to go. Going to change everything up front, make it look a lot better. New headlights, new tail lights. Going to do something with the rims. And the body kit's going to be going away also, and we're going to be getting some really cool sidebars. But with that being said, let me give you the tour of the truck.